Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Weekly Review of Indian Equity Markets. Before we head into this discussion, let me give the standard disclaimer. I'm not a SEBI registered investment advisor. So, all the securities, stocks, and indices that we speak about here are purely from understanding price action for the week and the structure of the markets rather than a buy or sell recommendation. Please do contact your investment advisor for taking any specific action with respect to market. Uh, so now let's head back into the conversation. What you see in front of you is a daily chart of Nifty, and on a weekly basis, Nifty ended the week on a very positive note, and we formed a new all-time high this week, which is fabulous news. And the journey of India's progress continues to get reflected in the stock market. While stock market is not a true and clear and direct reflection of how the economy is faring at a very broad level, but it definitely shows the kind of interest and participation which is coming into the markets with solid foundation of economy in place. So what we see this week is definitely a nice strong candle with a long tail, and this is a testament to the fact that this rally still continues to kind of hold strongly its pace. While there can be some slowdown in momentum, but the rally continues to remain uh, fairly strong, and at this point of time, it definitely seems like we are still heading higher. So that's one thing which I think very clearly is visible as far as the structure of Nifty is concerned. Now let's convert this into daily chart and see what has happened or what transpired during the course of the week. Now on a weekly basis, if you see, we started somewhere. We started on Monday. We had a okayish kind of candle. We printed a high, which is a new all-time high for the week, for the new all-time high for the Nifty. Then on Tuesday, we again had a fairly decent candle. While we could see some amount of selling, but it kind of continued to uh, breach previous day's high. Then on Wednesday, we saw a fairly strong and ugly candle, and it kind of took down the lows of previous two candles, uh, um, which should have definitely rung some kind of alarm bell, and one should have been cautious about the action of the overall market. But what we saw on Thursday is fabulous. We saw long tail, and this has come almost at last 2 hours or last 2.5 hours of the day. And I was tracking this closely, and this being a weekly expiry, it was definitely something which had come to my mind that can we see a breakdown, because this candle could have easily been a candle on the reverse side as well. So this candle which kind of took support here, which was previous kind of resistance zone, though not very strong one, but yeah, previous resistance zone could have easily been this kind of candle. Now imagine what would have happened to the kind of selling pressure that we would have seen across indices. But good thing is that the kind of buyers started coming in and kept pushing the market higher. Obviously, the gains on this day, as far as the derivatives were concerned, given that it was option expiry, were fabulous. So this is, as I said, last 2.5 hours. So this is where it took the first support. Then we had a indecisive kind of candle at around 12 o'clock or so, and then we started getting into the game. So these two three candles just took the breath away from all sellers who were over there in the market trying to kind of sell Nifty options, assuming that this was a. So this is where the call writers got really excited, and they started writing calls aggressively, and we saw all of them were taken to cleaners, and this candle was a very very strong candle. We just tried to take some bit of breather at around this 2 p.m. 2:30 p.m. Yeah, this is that candle 2:30 p.m. and then we just took off. So I think these two three candles were something which were showing that we are not going to let go very easily. So, okay, enough of data crunching around option, but this is a significant rally that we saw on the closing day, on the option expiry day, and then on Friday we have a very small, though it's a negative kind of candle, but I won't be very worried about this candle, uh, purely because we have a long tail. So at this point of time, if I were to kind of initiate a trade, what I would do is this would be an SL. Yeah, this would be an SL, and go for a nifty trade. Now, what can happen is essentially I have a say 1.5% SL, 2% SL, and a possibility that I may see a 23, 24,000, 23 and a half thousand kind of levels, which is very doable. If we have a 23 and a half kind of level, we are talking about 5%. So risk reward, while not very strong and not too much in your favor, but it is a trade worth looking at. But honestly, the risk reward is definitely not in favor. If someone were to take that trade somewhere here closer to this place, I think the risk reward with a stop loss, see, the trade here could have been much better because you had very minimal kind of stop loss to work with. You could have worked with any kind of stop loss and possibility that you could have seen a you know one is to one is to seven, 1:7, 8, 10 kind of R multiple, which could have worked very well in your favor. So now obviously we're not talking about what we need to do in terms of trade for this week, but I'm just trying to showcase the possibility of R multiple when it can be in your favor and when it may not be completely in your favor. But uh, so with that, I think so broadly this is the perspective. But what's very interesting is that what has driven this rally, what has brought about the kind of rally that we're seeing. Let's head into Bank Nifty, and that is where something interesting has happened. Okay, we let's look at the structure of Nifty on an hourly candle, which looks very good. So, so we saw on a daily candle, if you see, you're seeing some element of contraction, though very not clear, but it looks like a cup and handle, more of a cup and handle, uh, something like this. And then we create a downward sloping handle. Uh, Now, this is what we see on a daily or a weekly on a daily candle. Right? You convert this into hourly candle and see how the structure looks like. This is the hourly candle. This is where we have cup. So let me take this out. Take this out. Now let's try and make a cup. This is another contraction which is playing out, which is nothing but a cup kind of contraction. And then we have taken off. So if you were to look at this from a VCP or volatility contraction pattern, we are just about tested the VCP and moved higher. Uh, this is nothing but a formation of a handle. So this is a structure we have taken support here, and then again trying to kind of move higher. A 2% move has already played out, and this is where I was talking about risk reward not too much being in your favor. So 21 850 900 being the stop loss, you can look at trying to initiate a trade and see, or one can look at possibly what can play out at these kind of support and resistance level from here on. So, so this is an interesting structure in play, and I have already marked some element of pivots which are lower. So if you see the lows are higher. So we are printing a higher low, and obviously a higher high. So we continue to remain in a very, very strong uptrend, and there is no reason to doubt this uptrend and trying to be cute about wanting to take wanting to give out calls saying that I said short, I said long, and so on and so forth. I think trend is pretty much in favor of buyers even at this point of time. Now, this is interesting. Bank Nifty, look at the way. So let's look at what has happened on the week. Obviously, we'll see a long tail. Uh, there's no doubt about it. Let me remove the markings. We saw a long tail last week. Again, we saw a tail this week, right? Uh, then we are bouncing off from this level. So this level is a previous. This level is a previous resistance level, which is now, which appears to have become kind of support level. If one were to kind of look at this closely, you're forming tails here, and this is a small stage kind of structure which is formed, and we have tried to break out of the stage. So I think Bank Nifty seems to be well poised to maybe drive this round of rally before we are done with this rally, if I were to say so. So so uh, this is how the structure of Bank Nifty looks like. I think we are definitely in a trend. So if you see that the corrective phase here is much longer than here, then this one is even shorter. And now we are going here. If I were to put my neck out and draw a line here, I think we are definitely seem to be pre- preparing for something decent coming out as far as Bank Nifty is concerned. So let's see how things pan out from here. But yeah, so from a structure perspective, Bank Nifty is definitely again looking uh, in good shape, and we may have another set of upward momentum building while we are yet to kind of take out the slanting line. Uh, yeah, so long tail wick at the previous resistance zone, previous support level, which is turned into a previous resistance, which is turned into a support. We are forming nice wide range candles on the buying side. Sellers are not as dominant as buyers at this point of time on a daily candle, and we are looking like we are set to kind of take a decent up move once again as far as Bank Nifty is concerned. Let's convert this into a hourly. I think the structure of hourly contraction. Okay, on hourly candle, Bank Nifty has a very, very good structure to look at. Only thing is, it is not tightening up. But Bank Nifty, if you keep waiting for tightening up to happen, it won't give you an opportunity. Higher low. So if It prints a nice wide range candle here. I'd be interested. 46 cent. So we are definitely up to something as far as Bank Nifty is concerned. But mind you, when we hit this downward trend line, we corrected and we corrected fairly decent number. It's close to 2%, 1.5, 2%, which can almost 1,000 points, which can definitely put you in distress, and the pressure point can be fairly high. So I'll wait for a wide range candle here. I think one should definitely wait for wide range candle here before before one kind of tries to get smart about it. All else what one can look at is possibly go for a trade here. Put a tight stop loss 46,422, which is how much in terms of percentages, given that you get to pick something here, 1%, 1% stop loss, and then go for a trade here. There's a high probability that the risk reward may definitely play in your favor. Even if you were to kind of look at a previous ATH, we're talking about 1 is to 2, 1 is to 3 kind of R multiple, which is again not very exciting, but definitely something to kind of look forward to in this kind of market. So yeah, so Bank Nifty again, clearly there is a buying pressure, uh, or there's definite signs of stability and calmness as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, and obviously a lot of it is being driven by PSU banks and all, and you know what happened with State Bank of India. Now, HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank, if they were to participate, the structure of the, and obviously ICICI Bank has again come back and started taking leadership, which is a very positive news. Let's quickly review two, three structures in Bank Nifty. We'll not spend too much time there. Let's see. Let's start with PSU banks. Okay. Let's start with State Bank of India. How structure has played out over last. Yeah. So a phenomenal move we've seen in in State Bank of India, and it is kind of, it should have got everyone's attention. It's a 25% move in 3 weeks. Imagine, this is State Bank of India. Let's look at two more stocks, which is again we are back to say ICICI Bank has printed an all-time high. Then let's look at Kotak Bank. This is definitely something which comes to my mind when you look at Bank Nifty. I think even if HDFC Bank were to just chip in and be little more supportive of the banking index. See, this is what is not looking good as far as HDFC is concerned. Uh, just seeing continuous sell-off. What is happening from a long-term structure perspective? Let us just clear everything. It's a loose structure. It's a loose structure, and it has. Would you want to consider this as a cup and handle? The answer is no. So, so this is where the problem point is as far as HDFC Bank is concerned, and all this long candle will definitely pose a lot of resistance as far as HDFC Bank is concerned. Look at the breakdown. Still better. Axis is also doing right things, I guess. Yeah. So Axis, ICICI, and SB are something which are kind of working in favor of the bank nifty, and HDFC and Kotak are are two pockets which are continuing to disappoint. So let us see how things were to kind of pan out in this week. Now let's look at a few of the other indices quickly. I think we'll look at few of the domestic indices. So infra continues to remain in a very, very strong bull run, and I don't think we will there's no element of correction, there's no element of pullback as far as infra is concerned. Pharma is also doing exceptionally well. Whenever there is some element of sell-off coming in the market, I think pharma steps up and takes the leadership. So auto is again in a very strong uptrend. There is no pullback after this breakout that we have seen, which is November breakout, and we continue to move higher. This is a 25% move in auto. Uh, Nifty IT is definitely in a good structure. So if you were to look at some element of structure, while there are a lot of these momentum over overstretched rallies that we are seeing, but you look at the structure of IT, it is a beautiful structure. It is yet to take off all-time high, and it will definitely add a lot of credence, like what we had seen in global markets when Nasdaq and S&P 500 just took off and they continue to move ahead. One structure which looks very interesting and maybe a pocket of opportunity is FMCG. Look at the way the breakout played out, then a correction, a pullback on a weekly candle, uh, some element of uh, support, previous resistance turning into support now. It can continue to consolidate in this region, but the structure wise, I think this is one structure which seems to be in a decent structure, and from a risk reward perspective, definitely offering some. If I were to kind of possibly look at something like this, what I will do is I'll maybe mark out this region as a stop loss, right? While I'm assuming that this is a new pivot which is forming here, uh, risk is close to 1.5% or 2%. And even if it were to test the previous resistance, I'm still making close to 4.5%. So while in terms of pure R multiple, it is just like most of the other or maybe little lower, but at least there is some element of opportunity given the pullback which has played out. I'd be keen to put some money here or I'd like to possibly look at how this thought process of mine plays out as we enter next few weeks, and the next few weeks are also very important, clearly from a perspective of the fact that we are now heading closer to election season. This is a breakout. This is a, I don't know what you would call this. Is this a monster rally? But this is taking everything out of the hitting everything out of the park at an index level. This is what you see. Then you have micro cap. Now this is where we are seeing some element of divergence. Now what we saw in Nifty was higher high got printed, but what we are seeing in micro cap index is the fact that we are still While this week was positive or decent, but we are still seeing a lower high for the week. Consumer durable again seems to be in a decent structure and again seems to be taking off. So mid mid small 400. Yeah. So this is what we kind of wanted to notice observe a couple of weeks back when we did this, was that is this a range formation within this, and then we will see a breakout or breakdown. So let this play out. We will not get too smart about it at this point of time. The metal is another index which seems to be positive, and if China were to make a comeback, and which we'll see in the other set of indices that we are likely to that we want to review, if China were to make a comeback, I think the opportunity in this index is going to be phenomenal, and few stocks and sectors in this index are going to be doing really well. This is the leadership pocket of the market, and this week we have seen some element of sell off, but that's uh, but how does it matter given the vertical rally that we have seen? A 60% rally in PSU stocks in a matter of 6 months. Madness. Look at the structure. I think the breakout was here, and then the breakout was here. We are seeing some mad rush, crazy mad rush. I don't know how to kind of define this, but we are seeing some. Promoter of these companies, which is government, is fully committed and deploying a lot of and willing to deploy a lot of capital, and hence you're seeing the kind of performance that we are seeing come through. So this is a phenomenal rally that we are seeing, and if I'm not wrong, I had close to, I think, fairly large amount of units which I was sitting on, and I exited somewhere here, I guess. So 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 let's quickly look at what is happening in global markets before we summarize the entire weekly action session. Yeah, so we'll start with Dow Jones, a breakout here, and then we continue to flourish higher. This is significant move. Then we Kospi is very interesting. We were tracking this. We were tracking this cup formation while we've not completed the US index, but given that we have opened this up, let's look at this. Is just about taking out, and which is in a very very interesting structure. Uh, then let's get back to US market. So S&P 500 had a fabulous week once again. Nothing is stopping this rally. This is where we could have initiated a trade 16.5%. Let's look at Dow. Where's Dow? Nasdaq. Sorry. Okay, so this is what Nasdaq is doing. It's just continues to make a higher high and continue to move forward. And we had this is a rally of 20%. I think the move is phenomenal. There is no stopping this train at this point of time, and it is being fueled by what is happening in the AI sector out there. So Nvidia has done exceptionally well and continues to move higher. Now let me show you something which I am now interested in is Hang Seng. Now Hang Seng is in a very painful structure to say the least, and Hang Seng has to take out, but it has found support exactly at the previous uh, low, and which is a low of multi-decade low. Okay, and when I say multi-decade low, let's try and convert this into a monthly chart and see it is seeing a multi-decade low. The last time we were here was October 22. Then we were here, we were higher or we were lower in 2008. The element of pain that China is going through, nobody has seen it. This is a one way fall, and it is very difficult for someone to kind of digest this kind of pain uh, for the kind of allocation that we are seeing, or what is happening in Chinese market. And if Chinese market were to start turning around, we will definitely see something really interesting happening. Now, look, in contrast to this, look at what Japan is doing. Japan was in a multi decade low. So Japan 2016, this is 20. So Japan has come out of its pain point after almost. So this was a chart that let's see this chart. I saw a very beautiful chart of Nikkei. Let us see. I mean, let's not spend more time, but Japanese market has come out of a pain almost after 34 years, while the chart does not take me so far. But this is what Japanese market has done. It has come out and it consistently continues to move higher. And if you see this year, it is one of the best performing markets. Uh, where are we? June 23. Let's go to March. 40% return from March 23. So that's the kind of rally we are seeing playing out at an index level, and imagine what would happen to the stocks out there. So broadly, if you see, global markets are in good shape and continue to move, definitely move higher. Let us see how it pans out in Indian markets. So sectors and stocks that I would definitely keep a close eye on is Bank Nifty, something which I'm very closely tracking at this point of time, and won't mind looking at it. Um, from a slightly more deeper perspective with the kind of stop losses that we spoke about or the resistance and support level that we spoke about. Nifty looks like poised to make a fresh again move higher. So overall, I think the trend remains positive. There is no reason to kind of get perturbed. At this point of time, if one were to try and do something, it has to be only trying to buy the market rather than trying to get cute and try and initiate shorts and buy deep discounted far out of the money shorts and all those things. So with that, let's With that, we come to the end of this session. Have a great weekend and look forward to a great uh, week again. Thank you so much.